ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to another great episode on The Truth with Ben Jokes, your number one political talk show. Now, Nigeria, 923,768 square kilometer, has boundaries in the north, south, east, and west. We are bounded in the north by Niger Republic, we are bounded in the east by Chad and Cameroon, and in the west, we are bounded by Benin Republic. But as it stands, there is an issue with Benin Republic. You see, for a while now, we have been talking about how other African countries are leaving Nigeria behind in terms of quality of leadership. Kenya's president, William Ruto, is 10 times better than Tinubu. Yet Kenya had a near revolution because of a bill that he attempted to introduce, and he had no choice but to withdraw the bill, and it took a lot before he could end the protest. 37-year-old Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso is now the toast of the world because of how decisive, transparent, and people-oriented his leadership has been since he took over. Total Energies dumped Nigeria and opted to invest in Angola instead, saying that they had far better leadership. Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Gabon dealt ruthlessly with terrorists and headsmen who invaded their country. But here we are in Nigeria romancing terrorists. So, the government of Benin Republic, this country that bounds Nigeria in the west, discovered that the new terrorist group Mahmuda had invaded Kwara State and some parts of southwest Nigeria, to the point that the terrorists are receiving ammunitions from helicopters right on Nigerian soil. And knowing fully well that the Tinubu-led APC government is not sincere in their fight against terrorism, the government of Benin Republic decided to start shutting their borders against Nigeria. Benin Republic, a country with just 14 million people, less than the population of Lagos, less than the population of Kano, have also given up on the failed Tinubu-led government of Nigeria. This is a disaster. And concurrently, the Minister of Power, Adelabu, hit Nigerians with another heavy punch. Adelabu has all but said that it is impossible to have stable electricity in Nigeria. What a shame. Before I show you details of these top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this video. This one here is from the Senate Minority Leader and former Minister of Interior, Abba Moro. See the video.
In 2022 running to 2023, PDP was in opposition. And so the question at that point was, what do we do to get back to the winning ways? The constitution of the PDP provides for zoning, but the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria provides for level playing ground for everybody to aspire to whatever level of position he can in the country. And so, in the political permutation of the PDP at the time, leaving the choice of candidate open was an attempt to pick the best out of the bests that could challenge the status quo of the ruling party at the time. And so it was an option.
An option that backfired.
An option that backfired, and an option that backfired that needs remediation. Looking back now to what I know, part of the reasons that we lost out in the 2023 presidential election is the fact that our presidential candidate came from the north. And people generally on moral ground say, look, if the north had presided over this country for 8 years, it's only fair that the south should be allowed to produce a candidate for the election. We didn't do that. It takes a few hours, a few minutes to cause damages. But between me and you, historically, it takes more time, it takes more efforts to repair. And so...
yeah, to destroy is easy, to fix and repair.
And so at the moment, the PDP is trying to realize its mistakes. There is no doubt that if PDP continues to make the mistakes of the past that presumably led to our present predicament, the result will be the same. Because like I said before, it was David Easton who said that we cannot continue to do the same thing the same way all the time and expect a different result.
You heard that. Now, whether we like it or not, the fact that Buhari just had 8 years will always creep into the discussion anytime Atiku talks about running against Tinubu. And that is why I keep saying that the genuine PDP members today have no option than to align with Peter Obi. This is simply because there is no southerner in the PDP today that can compete reasonably in any presidential election, let alone talk about him winning it. But we have a southerner in Peter Obi, who first of all is the best candidate out there. Then secondly, he was a PDP member a few years ago. And thirdly, and most importantly, he won the last presidential election by popular votes before INEC and judiciary did what they did. And I hope that the people surrounding Atiku would call the man to order. This is the last chance at anything honorable for you, Atiku. I think you should choose the path of honor and bow out honorably now. He should throw his weight behind Peter Obi. If Atiku declares support for Obi today, that will be the end of the confusion within the opposition. But with or without Atiku, Obi will eventually find a way and still stand strong because of the massive support of the ordinary Nigerian. But the truth is, however the opposition wants to go, they should hurry up and let us know. Especially Peter Obi, we need pressure on INEC to take a decision on Abure and Arabambi. And if Labour Party cannot be recovered, we have to decide whether to go for a coalition or form a new party. Then the next call is to get the transmission of results from the polling units to the IREV signed into law, because without that, the 2027 election results will be written and stamped before the end of 2026. Point blank, period. Now, let us look at the top stories. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu says for Nigeria to have steady power supply, we must invest $10 billion every year for 20 years. For me, this is simply saying we can never have steady power supply. And next is that update from Benin Republic. Benin shutting their borders against Nigeria, starting from Kwara State, because of the mighty invasion of the Mahmuda terrorist group. Let's start by taking that update from the Minister of Power, Adelabu. Look at how the papers reported it. Nigeria needs $10 billion yearly to achieve stable power supply. The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, has said Nigeria needs $10 billion annually for 20 years to have a steady electricity supply. Speaking at the inauguration of a 2.5 megawatt solar hybrid power project at the Nigerian Defense Academy in Kaduna State, the minister identified inadequate maintenance, insufficient investment, and the inability to upgrade transmission grids as major causes of the infrastructure gap in the power sector, which has accumulated for over 60 years. For us to achieve functional, reliable, and stable electricity in Nigeria, we need at least $10 billion annually for the next 20 years. But there is some foundational bottleneck that we experienced in the past that needs to be fixed for the spending of this money to have meaning, he stated. So even after bringing the $10 billion annually for 20 years, there are still bottlenecks that need to be dealt with before the spending of the money can have meaning. This guy has gone totally crazy. So what you are telling us is that we can never have steady power supply. This man Adelabu is the worst minister of power this country has ever had. But do you blame him? The man is an accountant. How do you make an accountant a power minister? That is a round peg in a square hole. And that is why all that he has done since he became minister is to dish out figures, because he is an accountant. Electricity tariffs have almost tripled under him, yet Nigerians are in darkness. We are paying heavily for darkness. What a disgrace. And look at how Nigerians reacted. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. This tweet here by Dare says, so after decades of funding darkness, now it is $10 billion per year. Stable power, now premium dream. It's a dream that might never come to pass if we don't get it right in the area of leadership in Nigeria. And Oyodomi here says, meanwhile, they've spent trillions to generate darkness and excuses. Now they want $10 billion more, maybe to upgrade us from blackouts to brownouts. This guy is the most clueless among the ministers, bro. All he knows is how to share rice and lobby to be the next governor of Oyo State. My Oyo people, if you allow him be your governor, una own don't. I think this man is just looking for money to fund his campaign. He wants to become the Oyo governor. That's why he's asking for $10 billion. And Saka Baba here says, Adebayo Adelabu, may God punish you and your entire generation. You are the most useless and worst minister of power in the history of Nigeria. I don't know why Bola Tinubu is still keeping you as a minister, because you have done damage than good in the Tinubu tenure. Obviously, Saka here is a supporter of Tinubu and he's angry that the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, is still being kept as minister. But Saka, it is you who needs to wake up. This regime has nothing positive to offer you and the foolish Nigerians who are still backing them. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that update from Benin Republic began making the rounds. Benin shutting their borders against Nigeria. Look at how the papers reported it. Breaking: Benin Republic shuts border with Kwara communities over attacks by new terror group Mahmuda, arms smuggling. Sources: Sahara Reporters. The government of the Republic of Benin has shut its borders with some communities in Nigeria's Kwara state over alleged arms smuggling and the emergence of a new terror group known as Mahmuda. Sahara Reporters gathered that on Tuesday, May 7, 2025, the president of Benin Republic ordered a total closure of the border route between Taberu, a village in Barutin local government area of Kwara State, and Tanu, a neighboring village in Benin Republic. A local security personnel confirmed the development, stating, "The president of Benin Republic yesterday on 7th May 2025 closed the borders between certain villages, Taberu in Nigeria's Barutin local government area, Kwara State, and Tanlu in Benin Republic, restricting the movement of goods and services." The source added that while helicopters deliver weapons into Nigeria territory, the exact destination of the shipments remain unknown. They always bring in bullets, arms, and ammunition via helicopters from Parakou, but we don't used to know where these arms go after shipping them into Nigeria. The narrator further stated that some individuals had taken steps to block the route between Taberu and Tanu, a key path linking Nigeria and Benin Republic. We added that the border between Taberu and Benin Republic, the nearest town that you can use to go there is Tanu. Tanu is like a village in Benin Republic. Some people came to block the route, and that is the only road you can use to enter Tanu in Benin Republic from Nigeria. And whoever is coming from Benin Republic can't also pass too. But he did not say the reason why the path was blocked in the video. The closure is believed to be linked to growing fears about the activities of a new militant group known as Mahmuda, which is suspected to be behind a recent rise in cross-border attacks and illegal arms trade in the region. Reacting to the development, the Nigerian Customs Service Public Relations Officer Abdullahi Meiwada told Sahara Reporters, "I will make my findings and get across. I don't think it is an issue I would jump into conclusion without adequate findings. Thank you and best regards." The Customs PRO, Nigerian Customs PRO, does not even know about it, meaning there was no communication with Nigeria. The president just gave an order, go and block the borders, go and shut the borders linking us to Nigeria. What a shame. They said they see helicopters dropping arms and bullets and all manner of things into Nigeria. And they see these people doing these things regularly. Nobody checkmates them. So they are saying before they bring this thing into our own country, before they bring this open display of criminality into our own country, it's better we shut the borders. So Benin Republic is shutting borders against Nigeria, but Tinubu's ministers will go to London on May 29 to unveil Tinubu's achievements. They even said Tinubu made giant strides in the area of security, but people are running away, investors are fleeing, borders are shutting. Giant of Africa, it is not about population. No. Benin Republic is a country of 14 million people, but as we speak, their currency is better than the naira. It is 1 naira to 0.37 CFA. We used to be far ahead of them. If we go into other economic indices, comparing ourselves to Benin Republic right now, indices like the GDP and per capita income, that is when you weep for Nigeria. This abject deterioration began under the APC. It became worse under Tinubu, and now countries are shutting their borders against us. And look at how Nigerians reacted. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. This tweet here by Ruki Omo Jesu says, Nigeria is becoming a threat to its neighboring countries since they've decided to be in bed with all these dirty Islamic terrorists from the Sahel, especially with the Muslim ticket, and the dirty terrorists who gradually creep into other countries if they don't strengthen their borders. That is the case here. And this tweet here says, even Benin Republic can shut their borders with Nigeria because of insecurity and crime. Ordinary Benin Republic, yet dead brain one Nigerian blame Trump for wanting to secure American borders. Nigeria is cursed, period. And Olami here says, no serious country will stand by and watch. Only Nigerians be mumu. Chai. No serious country would stand by and watch its country infiltrated by terrorists. And Jaja here says, a serious government would have clamped down on these new terrorists before they gain foothold and spread like a virus. But they would rather churn out propaganda and rehabilitate terrorists. Tinubu-led APC is ready to destroy Nigeria completely. And Unwaka here says, gross incompetence, when it becomes cultural, becomes a burden on blood ties. That is it. So many people who are citizens of Benin Republic today are actually Yoruba people. So they spread from Nigeria to that place. So they don't only share borders, they have blood ties with Nigeria. But the gross incompetence is now making them to cut off blood ties by shutting off their borders against Nigeria. But this is the APC. I don't expect anything less. And I've been saying it. All these issues, all these problems we are having in Nigeria today will continue to get worse under the APC. None of them is going to reduce in intensity. Talk of us being able to solve any of these problems. If Nigerians ever want to solve these problems, if Nigerians ever want to have a country that they can be proud of, then we know what to do. We must come together, unite, keep our sentiments aside, and get rid of the APC. But until then, make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una na I dey here. So don't go away. Don't go away.